Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm Sherry Hall, Position Control Manager for the Med Center. I think I know most of you all on the invite. I'm joined today by Trina Lowry, Amy Ammett, and Karna Anthony, who will assist me in the facilitation in case I get on a roll and skip over something. So each of you were invited today because you are either an RRC member or an interested party, or at least we thought you'd be interested, so you were invited. The purpose today is we're going to show you as an RRC member what reports are available to you in the Workday system, as well as where you'll see position requests and how you take action on those. At the end of this session, sometime at the end, we will send you a link so you can look around yourselves and see what I showed you today and practice. And there'll also be a job aid for the reports. So when I get started, there'll be 3 tabs in here, and we'll cover the Home tab, the RRC Review tab, and the Position Control reports. Within those will be business unit FTEs by cost center, your what we know today as RRCQ, and I'll go into these 3 reports: age positions, review all positions, and conversions. And everybody can see my screen, correct? That's the agenda on the screen.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So I'm going to go in. It's about to time me out. So today I'm going to be Mike Swab for purposes of this demo. Just also, I want to put this disclaimer out there that the information you see today is not actually your information. It may or may not be. It was staged specifically for this demo, and a limited amount of info was staged. So if you see something and you say, those are not my FTEs, that may not be my employee, you're probably right. It's not. This is just for demo purposes only. So I'm going to be Mike Swab today because Mike is a RRC member, and who doesn't want to be Mike? So when you first log in, you'll see these applications that are available to you. We're going to go into the position control application. As an RRC member, you will each have this application. So I'm going to go in and click into that. As it's loading, you see those 3 tabs that I talked about on the agenda when we first opened: the Home, RRC Review, Position Control reports. On this Home tab is a dashboard of your FTEs, your caps by business unit. You can see as an RRC member, you will have access to every business unit. Unlike in Position Control system where you could only see yours, you will be able to see every business unit. So if I hover over it, you can see more details. Here's your revised HR FTE cap for ambulatory. As we know, the revised cap is a revision to the original cap. Those are any increases or decreases, such as line body dollar transfers or new ads. And you know that your original is what you would have started your fiscal year with. This little blue line is going to show your variance. At the bottom here is just another representation of what we see at the top in a table format. So Workday gives you options to view things in different ways. Some people like to see things in tables, others in charts. And you can actually change this view if you like to a line chart. So we're going to go into ambulatory, the revised HR FTE cap, and do a drill down by cost center. It will give you more information. And now you can see each of ambulatory's cost centers: the revised cap, the original, and the variance. Close out of that. If you scroll down further, this is going to be across all business units. This shows the total employees, and this is going to be your active FTEs for each worker. This is the employee FTE, your revised, and the variance. At the bottom of this table, you're actually going to see your total employee FTEs, your job requisition FTEs, and your revised HR FTE cap, and that variance. And the variance is your revised HR FTE cap minus the sum total of your total employee FTE and your total job rec. So this should look somewhat familiar to you because it is similar to your RRC report that you saw in position control system.
Hey, Sherry, it's Molly.
Yes.
Just a quick question for the total FTE, just so I understand, that one doesn't align to the other total FTE. What is the difference of the 900 something that you showed versus, the 929.34 up above to the 800 something below?
This 929, this is the original.
And what is the 850? Yeah, what does that mean?
And this is the total FTE. So this is what you would have started with, and this is where you are currently, these two, minus any positions that did not have recs opened.
So these are just showing, okay, so they're
Yeah.
the vacant positions above that don't have FTEs in it. Is that what you're saying the 929 is?
The 921 is your original, what you would have started the year with. And then, as you know, there's transactions that happen throughout the year, but this would have been your start.
I guess
Sherry, I don't know if this is helpful or not. Molly, what's in the first chart are just caps. There's nothing there related to actuals. They're two different data sets, if you think of it that way.
So this is kind of like your current.
Yep, exactly.
This is your current and this is your cap. Just
okay. Does it
translate it back to how we are used to looking at it?
Gotcha. Does it include vacant positions down below then too, or no?
If they don't have a job rec assigned to them, no. So
no, it doesn't. Okay.
Yep. So you can actually drill into this if you wanted to know where those two FTEs job recs were. Well, let's just sort this. Anytime you see a column, you can filter and sort. Let's do by descending. And there's those two FTEs, and cost center 94465 and 94778.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions before I move to the next tab? RRC review. This is what we know today as the RRC queue. So you can see we have three requests staged here. This will show you the type of request, which we are calling now business process type, position number, some of the worker data, the FTE standard hours, and the date it was initiated. So, and when you go into your RRC queue and you want to look at the details, the same as we did in PCS, you're going to hit this little magnifying glass. You can either click on it and it will open up in this screen, or you can right click on it and it will open up in a new tab. I would suggest that you open it up in a new tab. That way you can go back and forth between the tabs and not have to hit the back button to get back to this view. So I'm going to go ahead and right click on it and click see new tab. And you see I still have my RRC queue. We're going to click review. And this should look somewhat familiar to you too, because it's similar to what you would see in details tab in PCS. Here's all the detailed information of the request, the effective date, these little blue dots to know what was changed, what was added, or might have been deleted. Excuse me. The job information, location, classification. This is an FTE change. So you're going to see this part-time was added, full-time was removed. Another indication that this is an FTE change. Went from 100% to 50%. Another indication that this is an FTE change. Any attachments that might be there. And just like in PCS, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, there's an area to make comments. Here's what we would have known as workflow, which we're calling process history. And all the way at the bottom, just like in PCS, are your options to take action on this request. You can either approve it, you can send it back, or deny. Send back is something new that we did not have in PCS. So if you find that there's an error in this request or you need more information, hit send back, choose who you want to send it back to, enter a reason so they know why you're sending it back, and hit submit. Any questions on that? Or you can deny or you can close it. So it's similar to what we saw in PCS. It's just laid out a little bit differently.
Sherry, this is Amanda. Are we able to approve multiple ones at the same time, or do you have to go still into every one?
I'm going to get to that. You're jumping
Okay.
ahead, Amanda.
No problem.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close this tab so I don't have too many tabs open at once. And I'm going to go to the next one, this change organization assignments. This is going to be your line body dollar transfer. It looks like we're going to move Hansi. So again, I'm going to right click on this so I can open in a new tab. Click review. And does anybody notice anything a little bit different about this request? There's this little pencil here. This pencil will allow you to actually edit this request. So if you click on it, you can change the effective date. You can undo that or save it. Here's all your position information, your cost center, your indication that it's moving from one business unit to another from 92826 to 99780. See, it says removed and add. You can actually change that. If it's wrong, you get an RRC meeting, it's wrong, or there was another decision made, you can change that. But know that if you make one change, you got to think about what other changes might need to happen. For example, if you change the cost center, does that mean that you also need to change the funding source? When in doubt, I would send it back. But if you know all that information, go ahead and make those changes. Again, this looks similar to the last request that we saw at the bottom. You can enter comments. There's your workflow information, any attachments that might be there. And here are your options to take action on it. Approve, you can send back. And here's a new option, add approvers. So there is no automatic routing to FACQ in Workday. So for these type of transactions, your new ads, your line body dollars across business units, you're going to want to send it to me so we can get your caps adjusted. It's going to say FAC approval committee. Choose me. Make a comment if you choose to. Hit submit. So anytime you see this add approver, that should be your cue to say, oh, I need to send this to Sherry for cap adjustments. Here are your other options, deny and close.
And so Sherry, this is Pat Robertson. So if it's not sent to you, the cap won't adjust or change between those two cost centers.
I'm gonna not necessarily know to adjust it.
Okay.
I would have to hunt for it, look for it to know that something happened.
Okay.
Whereas in PCS, they automatically came into my queue. These are not gonna automatically route to me.
So really the RRC approver is the one that needs to make sure.
Correct. And not only that, with a line body dollar transfer across business units, as you all know, that I need to reach out to the receiving finance lead to make sure that they accept that transfer. So if that's not done, it's just going to go ahead and route. And the receiving finance lead, if there were no conversations prior to this request being entered, they may not necessarily know a transfer came. Well, they'll find out at some point. So we want to make sure that that gets done so that I can reach out to that receiving finance lead.
Is there any way to change that process, Sherry, to like have that workflow automatically sent to you?
Probably when we make revisions to Workday. At this point, no.
Right. Okay. But that is a possibility for future.
Yeah, I would prefer that to happen that way, that it's automatically routed so that there's no errors.
Okay.
So I'm going to close out of that. The last request, a job requisition. Looks like it's a new ad, Randy Allen, is asking for something during this hiring pause. So let's see what Randy Allen wants. We're gonna right click on that, see it in a new tab. Click review. Here are all your details. It's going to tell you that it's a new position. And here, Amanda, it's showing Randy is asking for 3 positions. So, you know, in PCS, if you wanted 3 positions, you had to enter them individually, and your RRC would have had to take action on those individually. So this is something new. It should make it easier for RRC approvals, because once you approve this, it's going to approve all 3. But let's just say you only want to approve 2 of those. You're going to want to send this back so that it can be revised. Because if you hit click, it's going to approve all 3.
Good to know. Thank you.
Here's all your information, your recruiting information, targeted hire date, the justification. This one actually has a justification. Need help. And again, this looks similar. You scroll down the bottom. Oh, here's your compensation information. And remember, these blue dots indicate that there was a change or something added or removed. Comments can be added. Here's your workflow. And here's your options to take action. Approve, send back. And again, there's that option because this is a new ad. Oops, that's my Bixby on my phone. Sorry. There's the option to add approver, send to FAC. Your other options are here. Deny, close. Any questions on that one? So the only one we saw where you can make changes are the line body dollar. This one you can't make changes to. Let's close out of that and go to our next tab, reports. So Workday allows for more robust reporting than what we had in PCS. This is where we try to make things easy and put them on tabs for you so it's easy to find, but if you know your reports, you can actually search for it here. I'm going to go through a few of those. We'll start with the age position report. Here's your description of that. This report is one that we've sent out regularly, so this will be familiar with you. These are this is going to show you positions that are 6 months or older and vacant. I'm going to right click on this because I want to see it in a new tab. I think I already opened it. Accidentally clicked on it and didn't open it in a new tab. And I'm going to filter that. I'm actually going to do that HCM on those. Let's look at ambulatory. So this should look similar to what we've sent out before. And I say we, HRS usually pulls this, and now it's available to you readily. You don't have to ask for it. It's going to show you the business unit, your cost center, the position number, creation date, when the incumbent left, if there was an incumbent, you can see this one was termed, the end date. It's been vacant for 6 months. You can export this. I don't think I showed you this on the other areas, but you can export to Excel. You can do filters. Remember I said if you see columns, you can always filter and sort. This one allows you to eliminate columns. Let's just say we don't want to see all of these. We just want to see vacant months. Apply. Notice it got rid of those last few columns. You can reset that. So modify it how you want and then export it to Excel and manipulate it further if you choose to. So, we use this reports to see if we want to repurpose positions or simply just inactivate. Workday terminology is close those. So I hit the back button because I didn't open it in a new tab. I accidentally did not. Cancel out of that. So let's go to view all positions. Did it again. I'm sorry, y'all. Did not open that in a new tab. Did that out of habit. Let me go back.
So Sherry, will that give us the flexibility to inactivate positions directly?
That's another transaction that's a transaction request. So we're going to run this report. As you can see, I opened it in a new tab this time. Gonna hit OK. You always want to hit the subordinate. You have the options to change the dates. We're just going to hit OK for this purpose of this demo. Running a little bit slower than it had this morning. And you can see all positions. This is across Help Center, so it's showing ambulatory right now. Again, you can filter on any of these. Anytime you see columns, you can export to Excel. It's going to show you the manager, super org, cost center, scheduled hours, field open. You could also, on that initial screen, you could just show open. You could just show field. Or you can sort those out if you wanted to. Filter those out, I should say. You can manipulate it various ways. That's the great thing about Workday. You can see things in multiple ways and manipulate the reports. Conversion report, our favorite. This is a report that we had in PCS to show when you convert one position for another and what position needs to be inactivated. I'm going to right click on that. So I can open in another tab. Run it. And I'm going to show this one. I think I have a filter already set on this one. This is by soup org, so you're going to want to do it at the highest level to pull in a certain way. You know what? I'm going to go out of this and do. Let's cancel this. I think this is the one I wanted to use David for. I use David quite on this. What am I doing wrong, Trina? Somebody.
There you go. I think you just, yep.
I needed to type it fully. So we have one here stage. So you're going to see your job rec, which is actually the new position that was created, the cost center, supervisory information, position ID. This is all for the new position, scheduled hours. The tail end of this is the former position. You know, on this report, this is what we focus on because this is the position that needs to be closed. This is what you swapped out to obtain this. So this should look a little bit similar to the conversion report that we formerly used in PCS. Look familiar? And again, you can export it to Excel if you had a bunch of other list of requests here. You can filter those out. You can eliminate some columns if you wanted to. That one's not showing, but it would be there.
Hey, Sherry, back to Amanda's question about inactivating positions. So whose responsibility is that and how do we do that? I guess I'm a little confused.
Inactivations are not going to go to RRC. So the HR consultant will be responsible for approving those inactivations.
So it is not part of position control, or?
It just will not route. From my understanding, HR wanted to handle those. And we had some discussion back and forth about it, and we were fine with that, it's stopping at that level.
Yeah, hey Sherry, this is Mike Schwab. So I think it's going to happen in the HR business process owner, but I think one thing that we will do is create a report of what those inactivations were, so RRC members can see them.
We do have a report for closed positions. So when you look at this conversion report, notice that this conversion report is a little bit different than the one we have in PCS. It doesn't tell you whether it's active or inactivated. You'll have to look at that closed position report to know whether or not this is still active.
So does that happen when they don't reopen the position right away, Trina? Like how you were talking about it right away? Like, I guess I'm not quite sure I understand how the position gets closed.
So if there is a need to inactivate a position, Molly, then the manager will need to initiate that. The HR partner can also do it, but that's something that is separate. So this report should help to make sure that it gets closed in addition to that closed position report that Mike and Sherry both referenced.
Trina, again, this is Mike. So just to kind of talk about this, it wasn't a choice that we made. With every system, they're different than the system we had. I think this was just a limitation of Workday not being able to route the inactivations to RRC, correct?
Yeah, so I think the discussion was had very early on that this was an HR transaction that, we didn't know that the RRC would necessarily say, yes, no, you can't inactivate that. It's more that they need to be informed when a position is inactivated. And that's why we went the report route, right?
Yep.
So anybody can pull that closed position report.
Yep.
So if there's any questions about what was closed, that report can be pulled. But it is, as we've said, those transactions will not route to RRC.
So Sherry, this is Pat Robertson. So if a department, say, has a lot of these that they have to close out, that'll show. I mean, you'll also see it as a variance to their cap too.
You'll see the variance in the revised and the total employee FTE.
Okay. So you could very easily, if they're over their cap, you could very easily go to this report and see that they've got X number of positions to inactivate.
True.
Okay. And
you're going to use it the same as we used it in PCS.
Right. Okay.
And I'll still be monitoring this conversion report. People will still be hearing from me regarding this report.
Can someone go right from this report where it says former position right to that position to inactivate it?
No, I don't believe so.
They can't if you have the access. So Mike would be able to if he's the manager for the position. But if it's just an RRC member that's not responsible for the position, they would not be able to. So yeah, Sherry, if you hover over the related action there on the position, the 3 dots.
Oops.
You're good. The manager or the HR partner, if they are over that position, they would have the option to, under one of these menus, inactivate or close the position.
If it's in here. Nope.
Yeah, I don't think Mike is over this position, so he wouldn't have the access. But like I said, if it did happen to be a position that was his, or if the HR partner was running this.
So Trina, I guess I kind of still go back. Is that like, does it close automatically if we don't like go back in, if the manager doesn't repost it right away, like we talked about in that training this week? I guess I'm not quite sure how
No,
they
yeah,
go in and close it.
it will be out there, Molly. Somebody has to take action on it to close it. So it will be out there. It just will not be accounted for in that FTE count. So it'll kind of be orphaned out there by itself. It's still going to show in the manager's supervisory organization as a position that they have available. But when you look at those, when you go back to the very first report that Sherry showed, it's not going to be accounted for when you think about the current FTEs. It
Okay.
won't be accounted for there. Yeah, so like in this scenario, if there's no job rec assigned to it, it will not be accounted in the A or B column.
So
And the managers have access, if this helps at all. The managers have a manager staffing dashboard, which kind of mirrors what they have in the PCS today. And it does have a report on there that has vacant positions that are not currently posted. So that the hope is that they will monitor that and make sure that they have job recs assigned to those vacant positions so that we don't run into this scenario. Or inactivate the position if that's the case. But that's the hope with that.
any other questions? That was actually the end of the demo. But as you can see, there are a lot of similarities, PCS, but Workday is a lot more robust. You get a lot more out of it than we did in the position control system. No other questions?
Sherry, do you want to pull up the position control reports job aid on the ARC, just so people know where that is? We can send it out afterwards as well.
I thought I had it opened here because I thought somebody might ask for it. Let's see. Don't think I do. I don't know how to get to it directly.
I can put a link into the chat window in just 1 second. There you go.
Oops. My little thing to show it in. Oh, I think it opened in Explorer, so it's not showing over here. Oh, there it is. Here we go. Can everybody see that?
Yeah.
So there are a lot of the little tips and things that I showed you. The reports that I showed you, the terminology crosswalk. And I'll send you all this link along with the tenant that you can look around in. Any other questions? Okay, if there's no other questions, we will end this demo. Everybody had a good day.
Thanks, Sherry.
Thanks, Sherry. Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Sherry.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Take care.
You.